Prince Harry is said to be staring back at the year that changed his life, 2016, and this time he's not looking at it through the lens of romance, destiny, or fairy tale timing. He's reportedly examining it like a man retracing footsteps in the dark, trying to understand how every introduction, every party, every coincidence aligns so perfectly around Meghan Markle and the Soho House circle. They say it began quietly, not with a public argument, not with a dramatic scene, but with a timeline, a simple, cold, unemotional timeline. Because once explosive claims about Meghan's past Soho House connections began circulating again online, whispers about who knew who introduced whom, who was present at which event long before Harry realized it, something reportedly shifted. And according to those watching closely, Harry did something unexpected. He went backward. Back to 2016. Back to the months before the world knew her name alongside his. Back to the dinners, the private rooms, the members-only lounges, the carefully curated guest lists. And suddenly, what once looked like coincidence started to look coordinated. Harry has always told the story of how he met Meghan, the blind date arranged through mutual friends. He described it as organic, spontaneous, fate stepping in at exactly the right moment. But now, with resurfaced claims about Soho House relationships, longtime members, and social connectors like Marcus Anderson, insiders suggest Harry is reportedly asking a question he never publicly asked before. Who was in the room before I walked in? Because here's what has unsettled observers. Soho House was not just a casual hangout. It was, and still is, an exclusive network. A place where actors, executives, entrepreneurs, media personalities, and royalty-adjacent elites cross paths in carefully managed environments. And Meghan Markle was deeply woven into that circle during her Toronto years while filming Suits. That part is not rumor. That part is documented in photographs, event appearances, and member references. Marcus Anderson, a well-known Soho House executive figure, was a visible presence in Meghan's life. He attended events, he was photographed alongside her, he was at the royal wedding. These are facts. But the interpretation of what that meant? That's where speculation began to spiral. When the recent online claims resurfaced, suggesting that Marcus was more than just a friend, that he had influence over introductions, that certain elite gatherings overlapped with Harry's appearances long before the official love story began, Harry reportedly didn't dismiss it outright. Instead, he revisited the calendar. May, June, July, public polo matches, charity appearances, private club dinners, and people began pointing out something curious. Soho House wasn't just the backdrop of Meghan's life. It was also where she and Harry reportedly had one of their earliest private meetings. That detail had once been romantic. Now, according to gossip circles, it felt strategic. Sources claim Harry allegedly pulled old photographs from archived event pages. He reviewed who was tagged, who was present, who consistently appeared in overlapping social scenes between London and Toronto. He reportedly asked quiet questions, not accusations, just questions, about how often Marcus Anderson traveled between cities during that period. Was it coincidence? Or was there a pattern? The explosive part of the claims isn't that Meghan had friends. It's not that she networked. It's not that she belonged to Soho House. Many successful actors and public figures do. The controversy lies in the narrative that everything aligned too smoothly, because 2016 wasn't just the year Harry met Meghan, it was also the year Meghan's social visibility shifted upward rapidly. More elite events, more cross-continental appearances, more high-profile connections. And critics online began re-examining that rise with a magnifying glass. When did introductions begin? Who arranged private rooms? Who was managing guest lists? Harry reportedly wanted clarity, not from tabloids, not from gossip channels, but from the timeline itself. Those close to him say he revisited emails from that summer. He reread early message threads. He retraced travel schedules. He reportedly compared the dates of his own public appearances with documented Soho House gatherings Meghan attended. And here's where the tension grew. Because some of the overlaps were undeniable. Events in London where both circles were present, charity functions connected to individuals within the Soho network, private member lounges that had hosted familiar faces before and after the blind date. None of this proves orchestration, but in the world of royal scrutiny, perception is everything. What has intensified the controversy is the resurfacing of past warnings. Back in 2017, before the engagement was announced, reports emerged that Prince William had allegedly advised Harry to take his time, to move slowly, to ensure thorough vetting. At the time, it was framed as brotherly caution. Now, with the Soho House narrative being dissected again, critics are asking, was that caution connected to intelligence about social networks? No official statement confirms that. But the speculation refuses to die, because Marcus Anderson's presence at the royal wedding remains one of the most discussed elements of the guest list. He wasn't a distant acquaintance. He was seated prominently, photographed confidently, positioned visibly. And for online theorists, that visibility fuels their narrative. They argue that Meghan didn't just happen to meet Harry, she was already orbiting powerful circles that made such meetings possible. Supporters counter that this is exactly how social networks work, especially for actors and public figures. People meet through mutual connections. Elite clubs facilitate introductions. That's not conspiracy, that's proximity. But what reportedly unsettled Harry wasn't the existence of connections. It was the timeline precision. When claims suggested that Meghan had been present at events where Harry appeared years earlier, before their official introduction, it triggered curiosity. Did they ever cross paths unknowingly? Was someone facilitating those parallel movements? Harry's revisit to 2016 reportedly focused heavily on the period leading up to their first date. Who suggested it? Who confirmed it? Who coordinated the venue? Soho House once symbolized intimacy, a private setting away from cameras. Now, critics online frame it as strategic territory. Because if someone wanted two high-profile individuals to meet discreetly, a members-only environment would be ideal. And that's where the controversy sharpens. The claim isn't that Meghan did something wrong. The claim, repeated in online circles, is that the introduction may not have been as spontaneous as originally presented. Harry, according to insiders, is said to be reflecting on how quickly things accelerated afterward. Within months, Meghan met senior royals. Within a year, an engagement. Within 2, a wedding watched by millions. Was that rapid progression simply love? Or was it the culmination of long-established social groundwork? Again, no official investigation supports the darker interpretations. There is no public evidence of manipulation. There is no verified proof of orchestration. But in the digital age, absence of proof doesn't silence speculation. It amplifies it. Observers say Harry has been unusually introspective recently when the subject of early days comes up. He's revisited interviews, rewatched footage, listened to how he once described their meeting. And according to rumor, he reportedly asked himself one unsettling question: what did I not see because I didn't look? This isn't a story about betrayal confirmed. It's a story about doubt introduced. Because when explosive claims circulate, especially those tying together influential networks, elite clubs, and rapid social elevation, they plant seeds. And seeds grow. The Soho House name carries weight. It represents exclusivity, power, access. Meghan's long-standing association with it is documented. Harry's later association through her is equally visible, but the theory that it served as a staging ground for something more deliberate? That remains unproven. Still, Harry's alleged decision to revisit 2016 suggests something important. He didn't dismiss the claims outright. He examined them. He looked at the guest list again. He revisited the Croatia yacht photographs that once trended online, the ones that placed Meghan within elite vacation circles. He reportedly recalculated how frequently Marcus Anderson appeared in the background of milestone moments. Not to accuse, but to understand. Because if there's one thing more destabilizing than scandal, it's uncertainty. And uncertainty is what lingers around the phrase Prince Harry reportedly revisits 2016 timeline. It suggests reflection, reevaluation, reanalysis of the very foundation of his love story. And whether that reflection leads to reassurance or deeper questions is something only he truly knows. For now, the explosive claims remain what they are, claims. The timeline remains what it is, documented dates. And the Soho House Circle remains a powerful network that undeniably intersected with Meghan Markle's life long before she became a duchess. But the fact that Harry is said to be looking back, carefully, deliberately ensures one thing: the conversation is far from over. And if revisiting 2016 was only about curiosity, it would have ended there, a quiet reflection, a private moment of doubt tucked away behind palace walls and California gates. But those following the situation insist it didn't stop at calendars and archived photos, because once Prince Harry reportedly began retracing that summer, the questions didn't shrink, they multiplied. Because 2016 wasn't just the year he met Meghan Markle, it was the year everything accelerated with unnatural precision. The narrative has always been simple. A mutual friend set them up. They met at Soho House in London, sparks flew, and within weeks Harry was flying to Toronto, determined not to let the connection fade. Romantic, cinematic, destiny. But when critics began overlaying Meghan's Soho House timeline onto Harry's public schedule that same year, they noticed something that reignited the fire: overlapping circles that had quietly intersected long before the blind date. Toronto, London, New York. 3 cities where Soho House operated as a gateway to influence, and 3 cities where Meghan's social presence seemed to expand in the years leading up to 2016. Marcus Anderson's role continues to dominate speculation because he wasn't just a casual acquaintance. He was deeply embedded in the Soho House infrastructure. He knew the rooms. He knew the rosters. He knew who mattered. And he knew when they would be there. The explosive claim circulating now isn't that he engineered anything, no proof confirms that, but that he understood proximity in a way few others did. He understood positioning. And critics online argue that proximity can be more powerful than persuasion. Harry reportedly examined early media coverage of Meghan before their relationship became public. The charity events she attended, the social galas, the private dinners that weren't widely photographed but quietly mentioned in lifestyle columns. When he placed those against his own appearances at similar venues, he allegedly noticed how close their worlds had been before fate supposedly intervened. Close, but not officially connected. That narrow gap is what fuels the controversy. Because if someone exists one room away from you repeatedly over the course of years, is it chance? Or is it timing waiting to be activated? Again, there is no verified evidence of manipulation, no document proving coordination. But gossip doesn't require confirmation, it thrives on alignment. And alignment is exactly what 2016 offers. One detail that continues to resurface involves the early secrecy of their relationship. Harry has spoken about protecting Meghan from media intrusion, about private trips arranged swiftly and discreetly. But critics argue that Meghan already understood how to navigate secrecy within elite circles long before she met him. Soho House environments are built on discretion. Members are accustomed to privacy, closed rooms, unseen exits. Some speculate that the very setting of their first date was not accidental, but optimal. Harry reportedly reflected on how comfortable Meghan appeared within royal-adjacent environments almost immediately. She met friends. She traveled internationally. She adapted quickly. Supporters say that speaks to intelligence and adaptability. Skeptics say it speaks to preparation. Preparation for what? That's where narratives diverge wildly. There are those who insist Meghan was simply ambitious, a trait common in actors seeking global visibility. There are others who push darker interpretations, suggesting that ambition combined with strategic networks becomes something more calculated. Harry, by all accounts, was deeply in love in 2016. He described feeling understood, chosen, seen. But now, as he allegedly re-examines that year, critics claim he is questioning how much of that whirlwind was emotional momentum and how much was social architecture already in place. The wedding guest list remains a centerpiece of speculation. Marcus Anderson present, Soho House associates present, media figures connected to that circle present. It wasn't unusual for Meghan to invite friends from her professional network, but for conspiracy theorists, it was symbolic, the network that knew her before royalty now watching her ascend into it. One resurfaced talking point involves the famous blind date itself. Meghan has said they were set up by a mutual friend. Harry confirmed that. But critics question why that friend's identity has remained somewhat blurred in public discussion. Was it Misha Nonu? Was it someone else? Why the ambiguity? Ambiguity breeds suspicion, and once suspicion enters a timeline, it reinterprets every detail. Harry reportedly asked himself whether he had ever inquired deeply into how that introduction materialized so seamlessly. Who suggested it first? Who confirmed it? Who secured the venue? Who ensured both schedules aligned during an unusually busy summer? Again, these are reflections, not accusations. But reflection is powerful. Another controversial element tied to the Soho House narrative involves Meghan's financial trajectory before 2016. She was earning from suits, yes. She was building her lifestyle blog, The Tig. But critics have long debated whether her travel frequency and social visibility aligned perfectly with her income level. Supporters dismiss this as invasive speculation. Detractors frame it as unexplained elevation. Harry reportedly revisited those criticisms quietly, not publicly. No statements, no interviews, just personal review. Because when explosive claims re-enter public conversation, even the most confident love story can feel exposed to reanalysis. Observers close to royal circles claim that what unsettles Harry most isn't the idea of ambition, it's the possibility that he might have been the final step in a long-planned social climb. Not because Meghan confessed anything, not because evidence surfaced, but because the narrative online paints him as the target, not the coincidence. That word target is heavy. And no public figure wants to feel reduced to a strategic milestone. Yet those pushing the Soho House theory frame 2016 as a culmination year, the year when years of networking, curated visibility, and elite positioning intersected with royal vulnerability. Harry has always been described as emotionally open, sometimes impulsive in love. He moved quickly, he defended fiercely, he proposed decisively. Critics argue that such intensity can blind. Supporters argue that it's simply passion. But as Harry reportedly revisits 2016, the tone shifts from romantic to investigative. He allegedly compared press coverage before and after their relationship became public. He studied how media narratives pivoted almost overnight, how Meghan's global profile exploded, how invitations multiplied, how scrutiny intensified. Was that the inevitable result of marrying into royalty? Or had the groundwork for that explosion already been quietly laid within elite networks like Soho House? There's no court case, no leaked document, no sworn testimony, only timelines. And timelines don't lie, but they don't interpret themselves either. Interpretation is what divides the internet. It is timing, it is power, it is proximity, and sometimes it is doubt. And as long as 2016 remains under quiet review in Harry's mind, the explosive Soho House claims will refuse to fade into silence.